A very warm welcome to all the new subscribers and lots of love and regards, as always, to all the existing ones. I hope everyone is doing well. And I do understand that 1 week of July 2020 has already passed, and I'm a little late in sharing the energy update. But the first 1 week of July was quite a mixed bag of a roller coaster sort of emotions for me. I lost my grandmother, and I was getting a lot of messages for my personal situation from my own twin. And even though I have zero contact, I'm not on WhatsApp, and I don't really follow or chase my twin for the longest time. My connection with my twin is so strong. Like, it is so strong that her soul literally comes to me to give me messages, and I just know when something major occurs in her life. And I do wish to state that astrally, me and my twin have merged, and I have no doubts about the fact that for me personally, I have been in that union sort of an energy for a very long time. Because when my path began, I'm sharing this thing because I don't know who might find this useful. When my journey began and I realized that I'm a twin flame, I told myself one thing, that what is the worst thing that could happen in my knowing of the fact that I'm a twin flame. And my ego, or the worst thing at that point, because I was so new, and the worst option that I gave myself was that maybe I will never hear from my twin, and I'm never going to meet or hear from my twin, or this is the end of my story in this life, and that's about it, because frankly speaking, for any person, the worst that can happen is that you really don't hear from your twin, right? But that is a very ego based reaction, and a human based reaction, because we are speaking and thinking from a base level. You know what I'm trying to say? The fact is that at the soul level, there is zero separation. And the reason I share this with you is because, whenever my way of doing things and my way of tackling life is very different, I don't paint any rosy pictures. On the contrary, I think of the worst possible scenario that can take place or that can go wrong. And that is not because I'm a pessimist, but because when you have yourself accepted that this is the worst thing that can happen to me, then, frankly, you're neither scared of losing anything, and you have made yourself so strong internally that no matter what comes my way, I'm prepared to tackle anything. And therefore, my whole life, starting today, from the fact that I realized I'm a twin flame, till I don't know for how long I'm going to be alive on this earth, whatever my lifespan remains, I have to be my best version and see what it is that I can do with this knowledge and understanding that I'm a twin flame, and that I have a huge purpose to achieve in this life. And therefore, I became so busy with that kind of a mindset that, things kept coming my way, and one after the other. Of course, now I don't deny the fact that it is a very, very painful, it can be a very painful part, especially when we have to confront the shadow aspects and those parts of ourselves which we had no clue about. Inner child wounds, certain things that we are raised with. And I mean, nobody teaches us to live an authentic life, but it is more like whatever has been drilled into our heads from our parents or from society. So, when you come into your true authentic self, and when you learn about the facts that you have to heal so much and you have to evolve so much, and what are my gifts and how am I going to share, so much learning happens that you don't really have the time to sit and cry as to when my union will happen, or when am I going to hear from my twin. And another thing is that, I mean, each person's mindset is very different. And the reason I'm sharing this is to let everyone know that, the sooner you start having a trained mindset to focus on the solutions and not on the problems, and how you can declutter your life, I think that will really solve a lot of your problems. So, there are some very good and powerful developments in this month of July 2020, and then there can be some not so happening events that occur. But remember one thing, that as I speak on a YouTube platform which has all sorts of people from all walks of life. Okay, there are twins who have come into union. Okay, there are twins who are preparing to get married, and then there are those who have been on this journey for, let's say, 6 years, for 10 years, for 20 years, and then there are those who have just started their path now in this moment, or few months ago, or 6 months ago, or 1 year ago. So time and again, it is my request that do not compare your situation with anyone, because what holds true for one person will not apply and be the same for everyone. So, if you read a title of an audio message, don't be quick to jump to conclusions. Okay, either listen to the full message, understand the meaning, because this is not your personal reading, it is a general reading, and therefore it will cover a whole lot of twins who are in different stages of their life. I also wish to say that, the new service that I have introduced, which is coaching or twin flame counseling, I just want to request that whoever wants to connect with me for a counseling session, please read through my website and all what I have shared under the consultation tab on my website, because a consultation or a counseling session is not equal to a psychic reading session. So readings are different, which are email based, but for your general questions, whatever problems you might be facing on your path, the counseling or the coaching service is more apt, I would say. So please read through the website before connecting. And I'm really not in a rush to take up too many coaching and counseling requests, because I'm really very particular about the fact that I only want to, work with people who are really serious about their growth, and not really passing my time or wasting my time or wasting your time, because your money and my time both are very, very precious. So please think before you spend your money. And that's my only sincere request. Now, when we look at the energies for July 2020, this is a very powerful month. And the reason I say powerful is because of so many reasons. First of all, the masculine twins energies are screaming, literally screaming love, commitment, wedding, stability, retreat, and healing that has taken place. And this is especially true for the masculine twins and feminine twins who are now in communication, and they are close to their physical romantic union or even a wedding. Because I do see that many twins have come together, they are planning on their marriage or they are planning on their wedding, moving in together. And these are those twin flame couples who have been in long periods of separation, and the masculine twins who have approached or reconnected after a major amount of healing, after a period of, let's say, 4 to 5 years or more. So these very positive energies of wedding and commitment and love and coming into the heart space, this is primarily for those twins who have considerably spent a large amount of their life, many years, doing the inner work. And I also feel that these masculine twins who are now coming into union and coming forward and planning on the marriage and so on and so forth, they are the ones who were utilizing the last 4 5 years of their lives, building some really solid foundations for themselves. And by solid foundations, what I mean is that there is a high likelihood that they were already holding some really prominent and powerful positions in their respective careers. But the work that they did, essentially, when I speak of the foundations, is that of their inner child programming and the foundations in terms of their own inner stability and perception of this whole twin flame journey and what they were taught in their childhood as opposed to what they felt after meeting their feminine twin. Because the masculine twins, no matter whether you are new on your path or any masculine twin, they see their feminine as the queen of pentacles or the queen of scrolls, or a woman who is extremely divine and very wise and very knowledgeable, someone who awakens the love and divinity in him, almost like a teacher, like a wise teacher, and therefore enabling them to shift their ego based thinking and coming more into a heart based thinking, right? And therefore what I feel is that very positive and major healing has occurred in some of the divine masculine twins who have been who had been in separation for 4 years or more. And it also feels like maybe in the initial years of their lives they had a very impulsive lifestyle, or someone with an extremely imbalanced feminine energy that made them act from a place of ego, and not the heart space. Now when a masculine energy is wounded, the wounded masculine treats people literally like objects, okay, and stomps all over the feminine by using, abusing, and disrespecting her. And that's a very, very wounded masculine energy, like someone who just walks past a beautiful garden without even noticing its beauty, without noticing the flowers, and not caring about anything but their own, only what they want. Whereas an awake masculine twin or an awake masculine energy is one that actually stops by to notice the flowers and the gardens and how divine, in other words, their feminine is. So you can clearly see when a person is operating from a place of unconditional love, which many masculine twins have achieved now because of the great healing that both twins have done on their respective sides, and as opposed to twins who were only very dominant and control freaks and very driven by money, power, sex, and so on and so forth. And what I'm also seeing is that this is a month which is very powerful because a lot of divine intervention is happening in this month, okay? In this month and in the, weeks ahead, you can have a lot of divinely guided situations. Either it is your, intervention, divine intervention by the angels, archangels, your spirit guides, and also in many cases some of your ancestors who have passed over. They can come in your dream state or give you guidance. But this is very positive and also very powerful, but it means different things which I'm going to be discussing shortly. But what one thing that I'm also seeing is that both the masculine and the feminine have drawn number 5 cards, and the number 5, as you know, is a number of major transformations, right? So there is no doubt about the fact that whether you are in separation and you have recently separated from your twin flame, or you are someone who has been in a long period of separation, major transformation is occurring in all walks of life. And universe, and especially the divine presence the divine is going to make its presence felt, especially in the lives of the feminine twins. Now what this divine initiation or intervention is going to feel like is for a group of feminine twins that are about to actually get married to their twin, or that are about to have a physical contact with their twin, or are close to their union. You are currently going through a period of major cleanse, okay? So you might be facing a lot of ascension symptoms. I have discussed the ascension symptoms in detail, what you can expect in the coming 6 months in my previous audio message. So please, I request you to listen to that. But I feel that major cleansing is happening. So you could be feeling a lot of tiredness, a lot of pain, stress, maybe some skin related rashes, or skin problems, or sleeping a lot, or having a very very erratic sort of a sleep pattern wherein you can either not sleep at all, or you're being totally awake all the time. But there is a sense of tiredness, or maybe feeling like you're drugged, and there is a sense of like not knowing what's going on, but receiving too much information in your dream state, or feeling a little spaced out. Basically what's happening is that spirit is encouraging a lot of us at this time to take rest, so that the recalibration in our bodies and our cells can occur, and all the karmic contracts that are meant to end, you're being guided in some way or the other to sort of put an end to everything that is not serving you anymore, and that one final push and the release of the negative energy, whether it is in the form of relationships or jobs or people around you in your life, so that once that negative energy is released, you can build bridges and start a new life with your twin flame as a couple, those of you who are meant to have a physical union. But how this divine intervention is going to play out for those feminine twins who are extremely new on this path can actually come about in a very painful way. Because what I also feel is that there are many feminine twin flames who are going through some sort of a major mess and chaos in their personal life, in their home life. This could be either problems with their parents, or this could be problem with your husband or your spouse. And I'm sort of seeing, or my attention is going towards this one contract or a paper that is very significant in the cards that the lady is holding. And both the masculine and the feminine twin, there is a presence of a contract there, on the left hand side in the commitment card, and also for the release your ex card, wherein the lady is holding a paper or a contract. Now this contract could represent a karmic ending, or an ending of some sort that needs to, like, you have to burn this paper away and release something from your life before you can unite with your true self and with your twin flame. And this paper or a contract could represent a legal divorce. It could imply a legal separation from your karmic partner, but something that needs to be totally cut off from your life, like a total severing of ties, uh, or some sort of a relocation or a change of place before you can actually be together with your twin flame. So, some sort of an ending is definitely on the cards. And for those feminine twins who are very new or extremely controlling, what I feel is that if you are unable to understand the significance of a union, or if you are unable to give your twin the space, if you're new onto this path, then what I feel is that the universe is going to play out and uh, do something in such a way, I mean, make certain events happen that is going to cause a major blow to your self esteem or your self respect, and it will be like a forced shutdown that happens for you, Uh, in other words, the commitment to self needs to happen first. And therefore, when any feminine twin who is married is looking to connect with their twin flame, the first thing you need to ask yourself is that if you are happy in your marriage, then what is it that you need from your twin flame, and if you are unhappy in your marriage, then what is it that needs to end first before you can be with your twin? Because the fact is that maybe one or both of you need to go through some sort of a karmic ending and a total divorce or a legal separation before the coming together with your real twin flame can happen. So sit and reflect. And the main thing to understand is that you could always be married while your twin could be single, or you both could be married. And it's not necessary that a romantic union needs to happen. You could just be like a guide to each other, supporting each other from afar. And like I said, each person's situation is different. I don't know what your exact situation is, but till the time you are sailing in two boats and you have zero clarity about your life, you're not going to see any results. And which brings a very important aspect about the wounded feminine, and what are some of the traits of the wounded feminine. So when the feminine energy is wounded, she has she has a lot of trust issues. Now I'm saying she, but obviously you could be a male or a female with the feminine energy. So when the wounded feminine is on this twin flame path, she will have a lot of trust issues, fear of loneliness and abandonment. Uh, Oftentimes, the wounded feminine feels unworthy of love and becomes very easily attached to the first person who shows the slightest attention or love, even if that is fake love. And there is an energy with the wounded feminine, a very strong energy of a victim mindset and someone who literally begs to be loved. This, now again, this is not from a place of judgment, but like I said, that, when we are speaking about this path, you encounter all sorts of energies, and the logic is that what is wounded needs to heal. And when you know what your wounds are, you can start taking action on them, right? That is the logic. So a lot of times, many of the feminine twins who have seen their mothers lead a very suppressed sort of a life, who were majorly dominated by their husbands or by their respective fathers, they are taught to sort of grow up not speaking, or keeping your emotions very very closely guarded, not opening up, or you're being taught to be submissive and not really speak much, because that is not how a woman is supposed to be. But and this is primarily what happens. So when you turn into adults, you end up in a self-sabotaging behavior. And a lot of times when women ask me that why am I being used by men, or uh, a wounded feminine putting across this question to herself, that why am I being used by men or used or abused by men, it happens primarily because you in that moment are not rooted enough in your feminine energy. So when the healing occurs and when the wounded feminine awakens to her true divinity, she realizes that what her true worth is, and that all what she was taught from childhood was wrong, and that she does not need to depend on anyone to complete herself, because she is totally whole. And therefore, when that healing starts occurring, the biggest sign of healing is when the wounded feminine takes charge of her life and starts treating her body with respect, starts setting healthy boundaries with men or twin flame or whoever that might be, and makes her decisions or makes their decisions using logic and not just emotions, right? So that is the kind of healing that is happening right now. I also somehow feel that some, not all feminine twins, but there are a handful of feminine twins who have recently gone through some sort of a deep wound or a miscarriage, uh, or a very, very bitter encounter with their twin flame. This is for those who have recently begun their path. Okay, so the energy seems like there is some sort of a deep wounding or a sexual shame or some sort of a miscarriage that has occurred, and there is a lot of hurt associated with that. But what I'm trying to say is that while there is a great deal of improvement happening for twins who are coming into union, or in communication and planning on their marriage and so on and so forth, there is also a section of divine feminine twins who need to undergo some sort of a loss in their personal life, and this is the loss of some low vibrational relationship, low vibrational job, or an activity. And it's happening because it is pushing you to literally lift yourselves into a higher state. So if you've been through some sort of a deep loss, don't see it like a loss, see it as healing and something that was needed. Okay. And so for many feminine twins, the divine intervention and the angelic assistance that is coming your way will happen either through the feminine twins that are taking on some sort of a learning, something you are studying, or a new practice, or a knowledge, or a certification, or new spiritual practice that you have adopted or you're planning to share. Or it could come in the form of connecting with your guides through meditations and visualizations. The flip side, however, would be that some feminine twins, like I said, are holding on too tightly at this point in time, and there is a lot of immaturity, and you need to sort of let go of your masculine twins. Otherwise, the universe is going to play out certain things in such a way that you will have to force yourself. I mean, you will be forced to end all contracts. So look at the whole situation as a healing. All in all, I do feel that the month of July is very powerful. And as you can see, for the feminine twins, we have the well and the bridge. Now, the well also is an indicator of wish fulfillment. But before the wish fulfillment happens, and before the union happens, there is also a need to see below the surface. Dig deep within, see below the surface, and don't blindly trust anything that comes your way, right? So there is a need for some in-depth analysis in your life, feminine twins, at this point in time. And if you are successful enough in doing this deep inner work and self analysis and healing the wounded feminine and coming into a place of the healed feminine, and just allowing the healing and the release to occur, you are going to seriously have some sort of a wish fulfillment. And for some feminine twins, the wish fulfillment will be in the form of a union, a physical union, or a marriage with their twin, which can be, in the coming, like, which could happen in the month of July or in the months ahead, that both twins sit together and plan that maybe we are now together and we should plan this up for, let's say, February of 2021, whatever. And for other feminine twins, the wish fulfillment could occur in the form of you having a huge release in your life, or getting free from some very, very long standing problem that was bothering you for a very long time. So each person's situation is different, but I certainly see a lot of progress and a very powerful month, because this is literally paving our way to come into our highest and the most authentic self, whatever that is. And that includes our special abilities and powers as a star seed, as a twin flame. So, my humble request to everyone to please train yourself to not be attached to outcomes, focus on decluttering your life, and look at your pain as a teacher and not as some sort of a punishment that has come about in your life. And that is the only truest way to heal. And on that note, I want to thank everyone who took out time to listen to me. Please do listen to my previous audio messages, because lots of other important information has been shared in the past. And I wish you all the best on your path. And if you plan to connect with me for a reading or for a twin flame counseling, please read through each section of my website, the terms and conditions, the payment information, and only after that connect with me. I wish you all the best on your path, and extremely grateful for all those of you who sent me some very loving emails on Guru Purnima, and for all your love and continued trust in my work. So take care, guys. Have a wonderful month of July, and I wish you all the best. Bye.